You know what separates an average player from a monster? It's not speed, not strength, not some God-given talent. It's the mindset. The mindset to look at the field and see everything. That's what Isagi learned the hard way. He wasn't born the strongest striker. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the most gifted. He was the guy who kept losing because he was thinking like everyone else. And when you think like everyone else, you stay ordinary. But the moment he changed his mindset, the game changed with it. He stopped asking, "Can I score?" and started asking, "How do I destroy them?" He stopped looking at himself as just another player and started seeing himself as the one who decides the outcome. That's when the awakening began. Because mindset is the first battlefield you ever fight on. Your thoughts are your real opponents. Your doubts are the defenders. Your fear is the goalkeeper. And your potential? That's the open goal waiting to be struck. Isagi taught us one thing with his evolution. The game doesn't change until you change the one playing it yourself. So listen closely. If you keep thinking small, your life stays small. If you keep thinking safe, your life stays safe. If you keep thinking like everybody else, you'll stay exactly where everybody else stands. But once you flip the switch, once you decide to see the world with clarity, hunger, and calculation, you stop reacting to life and start controlling it. That's mindset. That's Isagi. And that's where your transformation begins. There's a moment every player faces when the field gets blurry, the noise gets louder, and everything feels too fast to control. Most players panic. Most players freeze. Most players crumble under pressure. But not Isagi. Not anymore. Because once he changed his mindset, he learned to do something terrifying. He learned to think clearly in chaos. This is what makes him dangerous. Not overwhelming power, but overwhelming awareness. He studies everything, every movement, every habit, every weakness hiding behind a defender's confidence. He stops relying on instinct alone and starts relying on calculation. And this is where the transformation begins for you too. When chaos hits your life, pressure, expectations, failures, you have two choices. You can drown in it, or you can analyze it. Because chaos isn't your enemy. Chaos is the field where legends are created. And if you can stay calm while everything around you is falling apart, you're already ahead of 90% of the world. Isagi didn't see the field anymore. He read it, like a map, like a puzzle only he could solve. He wasn't reacting to the situation. He was predicting it. He was shaping outcomes before they even happened. That's what a changed mindset gives you. The ability to take control while everyone else is losing theirs. So hear this clearly. If you want to rise, if you want to dominate, if you want to rewrite your path, you must become the calm center inside the storm of your life. You must learn to see through the chaos, the way Isagi sees through a crowded field. Because the world isn't slowing down for you. Life isn't going to wait. Pressure won't disappear. So instead of wishing for an easier game, become the player who can win any game. Calculated, cold, clear. Just like Isagi Yoshi, there's a difference between a player and a hunter. A player runs toward opportunity. A hunter creates it. And when Isagi changed his mindset, he unlocked something frightening, a new kind of vision. Not eyesight, not reflex, awareness. Complete, ruthless, predatory awareness. He stopped seeing people as players and started seeing them as patterns. Defenders weren't walls anymore. They were predictable. Midfielders weren't threats, they were stepping stones. Strikers weren't rivals, they were puzzles he was born to solve. Every movement had meaning. Every hesitation had a reason. Every mistake was a doorway, and he walked through all of them. Because a predator doesn't wait. A predator doesn't doubt. A predator doesn't let fear control the next move. A predator calculates and executes. Life works the same way. Most people only see what's in front of them. Bills, stress, failure, doubt. Their vision is limited, trapped by fear and comfort. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they don't rise. But when you sharpen your mindset, when you decide to see the world with cold clarity, everything shifts. You start noticing things others ignore. The fake friends, the wasted time, the habits pulling you backwards, the chances you were blind to. You begin to read life the way Isagi reads the field. You see weakness in obstacles. You see opportunity in chaos. You see patterns in failure. And then slowly but surely you start controlling the game, not by force, not by luck, but by vision, predatory vision, the kind that turns an ordinary person into someone unstoppable. So listen closely, you don't rise by running faster. You rise by seeing clearer. Once you train your vision, your mindset, your awareness, the world stops being something you fear and becomes something you hunt, just like Isagi. There comes a moment in every fighter's life where the world corners you, pressures you, squeezes everything out of you until you're left with nothing but one question. Who are you when everything falls apart? Isagi reached that moment more times than he can count. When he wasn't the strongest, when he wasn't the fastest, when everyone around him called him average, replaceable, forgettable. Those words hit deeper than any tackle. Because they weren't just attacking his skills, they were attacking his identity. And that's what a breaking point really is. The battle between who the world says you are and who you decide to become. Most people collapse here. They break under pressure. They shrink. They quit. But Isagi, he didn't break. He transformed. He stood in the storm, even when the wind cut into his chest. He stood when his lungs burned, when his heart screamed, when his mind whispered, maybe they're right. Maybe you are average. But he didn't bow. He didn't run. He didn't accept their version of him. Instead, he reached deeper. Deeper than pain. Deeper than fear. Down to the part of himself that refuses to die. And that's where he found it, the spark, the hunger, the ego, the thing inside him whispering, you're not done yet. That's what makes Isagi terrifying. Not his talent, not his technique, not even his vision. It's that when life tried to break him, he sharpened himself on the pressure. He became colder, clearer, sharper. Because your breaking point isn't where you end, it's where your real self begins. Maybe you're standing at that point right now. Maybe people underestimate you. Maybe you doubt yourself. Maybe you feel like you're losing. Good. Because diamonds don't form without pressure. Predators don't awaken without chaos. Champions don't rise without breaking first. Remember this when the world pushes you to the edge. Don't close your eyes. Look straight ahead. Lock your jaw and whisper back. Push harder. Because that's the mindset that turns nobody into somebody the world can't ignore. Just like Isagi. Listen, there comes a moment in every warrior's journey when the world stops being your enemy and becomes your test. And this is that moment. The moment where you decide, do you rise or do you break? Because when you chase a dream like Luffy, the universe won't clap for you. It won't open a golden path. It throws storms, enemies, betrayals, and failures right at your face, not to destroy you, but to measure you. Every punch Luffy took, every setback he faced, every scar that burned across his body, told the world one thing: I'm still here. That's the fire inside him. A fire that doesn't need permission. A fire that doesn't need applause. A fire that refuses to die. And now listen closely. You have that same fire. Even if you don't feel it. Even if you've forgotten it. Even if life almost killed it. It's still there. Under the ashes. Waiting for you to breathe life into it again. You think Luffy became unstoppable because life was kind to him? No, he became unstoppable because life was cruel and he refused to bow. That's the dark truth people hide from you. Strength isn't born in soft places. Strength is forged in pressure, in loneliness, in heartbreak, in nights where you wanted to quit, but didn't. That's where legends walk forward. That's where weak men fall back. And I'll tell you one more truth. The world isn't scared of your strength. It's scared of your awakening. Because once you truly decide, once you lock in, once you stop explaining yourself, you become a storm, a force, a menace. Just like him, just like Luffy. So here's what you do. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop asking for signs or validation. Get up, move, build yourself in silence. And when they finally see you again, make sure they whisper the same thing the world whispered about Luffy. He didn't change, he evolved.